Myers, Florida. I have an update on Big Ed over here. Ivan Blanco, if you remember, it was the man who tried to drive a black man off the road twice. Actually, he succeeded in doing so while calling him the N-word. So, yeah, a hate crime. Of course, Lee County Sheriff did absolutely nothing about this. In fact, they didn't even take down a plate number, which is pretty standard for Lee County Sheriff to not be there when you need them. And my expectancy of that police department is, very, very little. They're constantly wrapped up in corruption lawsuits or investigations. So this should be no surprise that the company, Wright Construction Group, actually took action and fired Ivan when the police still can't figure it out. Isn't that incredible that his own company could figure it out, but the police, Lee County Sheriff, well, he's probably too busy doing what he does most, which is gambling or having affairs with women throughout Lee County and forcing them to have abortions. But that's just Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino for you, someone that Lee County repeatedly votes for. So when it comes to police, the county is doomed. You have to do everything through the courts. Trust me. Ivan, just because your last name is Blanco, it doesn't make you Blanco.
Welcome back to The Hidden Truth. In today's video, we are looking at a viral road rage incident a man identified as Ivan Blanco, whose action has sparked widespread outrage online. We'll also examine the broader discussion that followed, including people's experience and opinions about racial bias and discrimination in parts of Florida. First, watch these clips carefully, and when they are over, we'll come back to break everything down and share some important commentary.
Being black in Florida is a roller coaster ride that I wish I could get off of. In addition to anti-blackness from white people, which I've come to expect, Hispanic people, which I don't understand, and black people, there are no safe spaces. I live in a guard-gated community. 24 hours a day, there's supposed to be a guard there controlling access to the community through the non-resident side. All of these individuals are black. I came into the neighborhood at 2 a.m. Monday morning, and the guardhouse was completely abandoned. There was no one there. Both gates were wide open, and I didn't think anything of it because the gate is nothing that gives me any sense of security whatsoever. That's the type of thing I let my neighbors complain about. Later on that day, when I came back, the guard was there, but the resident side seemed to be having some sort of a malfunction. There was a car in front of me, and she was repositioning herself, trying to get her transponder to work. And then eventually the guard pressed a button, opened the arm, and that person was allowed to enter into the neighborhood. When it was my turn to come into the neighborhood, I kind of crept up because I assumed that there was something going on with the transponders. That's nothing new. It has happened before, but my transponder has always worked. So I get close to the gate. It doesn't open for me either. I back up, I reposition myself. I do what I can do with the space that I have, but it's becoming clear that the gate is not working. The guard yells at me and tells me that I need to back up and figure out a way to come in through the non-resident side. And I said, no, I'm a resident. Not only was the non-resident side backed up, but you just let someone in front of me. So she goes, well, I don't know if you live here. And I said, I'm telling you I live here. And she said, well, I'm not letting you in. I rolled up my window because, baby, you don't know about me. I just came from Chick-fil-A. I have a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. I have my orange juice. I rolled up my window, turned on my music, put my strawberry jelly on my sandwich, and ate my sandwich in peace. Because if you think I'm going to let you, a non-resident, check me, a resident, in my neighborhood where I pay HOA assessments, you must have lost your cotton-picking mind.
I recently saw a picture of Cuba in 2007, and it was a group of black people, and it just prompted me to think about the Miami Cubans. And I went and I did some research, and I saw that 4 million Cubans identify as either black or mulatto. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a lot of black people. So it made me wonder, why are Miami Cubans so racist? Why are you guys so racist? I don't understand it. You come from a country with so many black people. How'd you guys get to be so racist? It's almost like Hondurans. Hondurans come from a country with so many black people from, they actually bite off the literal culture of a black group in their country, and they're so racist. But the Miami Cubans, did you guys leave Cuba because you wanted to escape communism, or you wanted to escape black people? Because you guys came here and you just utterly despise black people. I was working with this one lady one time, and she brought a cake that we all pitched in for somebody's birthday, and this other black guy from another team, he came because he wanted a piece of the cake, and she was like, ese negro muerto de hambre no va a comer nada que yo compré, and I'm like, con permiso, and she was like, no, Mimi, tú eres una negra fina. I was like, what?
Blacks are scared of Hispanics. The proof is right there in the pudding. Look! An SA can move in any one of y'all hoods and create a gang. If everybody in Compton and all these gangs was in LA, these black gangs was so tough, then why is y'all sharing y'all hood with a Hispanic gang? Why is they still in y'all hood if y'all so tough, y'all so gun-ho? Why is them dudes still there? Y'all can't even get the essays out y'all hoods. But soon as a black family move over there, y'all wanna him. Like I said, I don't care about how they feel about that. It's the truth. And until y'all acknowledge that, LA gonna continue to be Mexico. Dead homie. You don't see nothing but the corn man in all y'all hoods, bro. And this ain't no disrespect to the corn man or the Hispanic race, but the truth is the truth. They took that. They took LA, bro. They took it. And this is another way you could tell that the blacks are scared of Hispanics. What I want everybody that's looking at this interview to do, I want you to, when you driving up Fig, when you driving down Manchester, when you rolling through Inglewood, when you rolling through South Central, when you rolling through Compton, I want everybody to take notice of something. The Hispanic kids, they can go jog up Rosecrans. They got to get ready for the track team. They can go walk to the store with each other. Ain't got no problems. Jose can go sell his oranges at the corner of the freeway, can set up a whole taco, watermelon stand all outside, and nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him, bro. Hispanic kids can be kids in Compton and Inglewood. They can be regular people. They can treat South Central and LA and Compton like the suburbs. Nobody's going to say anything to them, but let a black person, a black child, a black teen try to jog up Rosecrans or Avalon or Long Beach Boulevard or Manchester or Inglewood, anywhere. He gonna be getting banged on, and it ain't even gonna be by Hispanics. It's gonna be by his own people.
I just got called the N-word. I was working out, as I always do, just minding my business. I needed to add a little bit more weight to the bar, so I went to a different weight rack to get some weights to add to the bar. When I came back, a young Hispanic lady was adjusting the bench that I was using, and I approached her and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm still using this, I'm not done." And she looked at me and she looked a little bit annoyed, and she said, "Oh, you're not done?" And I told her, "No, I'm not yet." And she called me a string of names. The only name that she called me that was offensive was the N-word. I paused for a second before asking her, "Did you just call me the N-word?" And she wouldn't look at me. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She didn't try to defend herself, but she didn't also double down. And so I asked her again, "I'm sorry, did you just call me the N-word?" And I'm moving, like she's trying to move around, and I'm moving in her way because address me. She didn't address me. And in the meantime, she was kind of putting stuff back the way that it was, but she was clearly annoyed. And I don't know what she said, but she began mumbling again. I couldn't hear her, and I couldn't read her lips because she had on a hoodie. I couldn't really see her face very well at that point. And so I couldn't guarantee that she wasn't still calling me the N-word. So I got louder and I told her, "Don't you ever call me the N-word. Don't you ever let that word slip out your mouth." Now, I'm sure y'all are probably thinking, why didn't you cuss her out? Why didn't you, drag her to hell and back? I'm one of the least violent people I know. I'll just put it that way. And I don't actually believe in matching energy. So I really didn't want to have any kind of confrontation or altercation with that young lady. But I draw the line of disrespect at the N-word. You can call me just about anything else, and I don't care. But do not call me the N-word. And this is just an announcement. This is a PSA. If you are not black, this is not just for white people. This is for all people who are not black. Do not use the N-word. You do not have blanket permission to go up to anyone and everyone and use that word. As a matter of fact, if you're not black, I don't know why you want to use that word. It doesn't make sense to me. And there's nothing you can say to make it make sense. If a black person has told you they're cool with it, that only applies to them. They have not the power to give you permission to call any and every other black person the N-word. PSA over. So I did say those words. I didn't want to get physical. Obviously, she's a lady and she was quite petite at that. And I'm not like super huge. I'm tall, but I'm not like, super stocky or anything. But I am a man, and I understand that that in itself can be quite menacing. So I decided, the most I'm going to do is just raise my voice. I wanted to make sure that she could hear me because she had some earbuds in, and I didn't know if she had her music blasting to the point where she couldn't hear me or not. But I wanted to make sure she could hear me, so I raised my voice a little bit. I'm not a yeller, but I did raise my voice. And I also wanted the people around us to know, because I believe in public shaming. So everyone around us is going to know, you just called me the N-word. And she walked off, like I said, she was mumbling under her breath a little bit, couldn't make out what she was saying, but she never addressed me, and she just kind of walked off. But so I think I feel like my job was done. I'm okay. I'm proud of how I handled that, because I was livid. I was actually very angry, and I got through those sets because of that anger. Like that frustration came out of me, and I took it out all on those weights. But yeah, please, I know that y'all are using this word amongst your group of friends, amongst your family. And the reason why I know is because it rolls off your tongue so easily when you're actually angry or when you're actually addressing a black person, especially one that you don't know and who has pissed you off. So my recommendation would be to stop using that word. Just don't use it. Then you don't have to worry about being in public, because you caught the right one on the right day. I'm, like I said, nonviolent, so I wasn't going to put my hands on you, but do that with somebody else, and I can't guarantee that won't happen. And I admit I won't feel bad. If it does come to fisticuffs, I'm just going to look the other way.
From the clips, you can see that the incident quickly became about more than just a road rage. It raised questions about racism, public behavior, and whether authorities responded appropriately. Some people also shared their own experience with discrimination, while others offered different perspectives on why these situations happen. What do you think? Was this simply one person's behavior, or does it point to a bigger issue? Have you ever witnessed or experienced something similar? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For now, let's continue watching a few more clips, and afterwards, we'll return with more analysis.
Okay, y'all. So I just watched 2 different videos of Hispanic women crying. And baby, we're gonna unpack this because I judge. If you are new here, it's your girl Maya Lamisha, favorite cousin on your mama's side, the opinionated stay at home mama. Okay, and like I said, I watched 2 different videos of Hispanic women crying. Okay, the first woman, she was crying saying that she regret voting for Trump. She believed everything he said that he was gonna do, and blah 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 blah. I don't know if she watched the same things that I watched, but he already said it was gonna be a mass deportation. I don't understand why they acting all confuzzled like that's not what that man said before he got elected. I heard him say it. I know y'all heard him say it. That's why we said we was gonna mind our 92%, because we heard him say what he was gonna do once he got in office, and now he doing what he said he was gonna do, and now everybody acting confuzzled. I'm confused by your confusion, ma'am. Now the other lady, she is asking for the support of the African American people, because she said back in the day when slavery was happening that some of us ran to Mexico and they gave us shelter, and you never know the way everything going on in the future, we may need Mexico again, is what she said. So she don't understand how we not jumping in to help save them. And for my recollection, Black people been considered the bottom of the totem pole for the longest. Even Hispanic people didn't like us that well. It was a whole debacle between being Hispanic and Afro-Latina, because they felt like Afro-Latinas was the bottom of the totem pole. But now you want help from us after we told y'all not to vote for him? We've been asking for decades for people to stand with us and march with us for our rights and Black Lives Matter, and y'all just kept saying all lives matter. But now that it's convenient for y'all want us to say Hispanic lives matters when y'all wouldn't even agree with us that Black lives matter. Again, I'm confused on the confusion about what y'all wanted us to do, because we told y'all we was down to ride and everything, but then when y'all voted for him, when we seen the percentage of how many Hispanic people actually voted for him, we told y'all don't ask us for no help later on. We said this to y'all, but yet now and still y'all want some help from us. We told y'all we was minding our business. I'm confuzzled with you, okay? Now, I'm not saying what he doing is right. I'm not saying that we agree with what he doing. What we saying is we told y'all. So if y'all want any help from us and advice from us, we just gonna tell y'all carry around y'all paperwork, because there's nothing we can do to help y'all, because we told y'all, he told y'all, they told y'all, they all said they was gonna do, and now everybody confused. I'm confused at the confusion. Okay, just carry your paperwork. That's all I can say.
In the gym, I've noticed that Hispanic women are aggressive towards black women. And I noticed this because I've been a gym girly literally for the last maybe 12 years at this point. And I remember there was a time when I first started going to the gym that being a gym girly and working out, especially specifically with the black culture, it wasn't a thing. And so when I first started, I would see a lot of Hispanic women, a lot of white women, and I would also train them. And I didn't really see too many black women in the gym. And back then, it was like they were nicer, they were more pleasant. Now, and it's not just the climate that we're in, because trust me, this has been going on for a while. I just never spoke on it. Now what I see is they are just nasty. They see you, they roll their eyes at you. If you're on a machine, they're looking at you up and down. If if you say excuse me, they don't move, like you have to go around them. It's like very unprovoked. It's very unprovoked. And I know because I'm a people watcher. I've been studying people for a very long time, and I just noticed, like, even towards me, they're just aggressive towards me. Now I laugh because I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. It's 5 a.m., sweetheart. If you want to gangbang on bacon, that is on you. I'm here specifically to get in, do my workout, and leave. But I just noticed that, and I just was like, yo, what is really going on? Not to mention, like, when I look at other genre of women, okay, so, like, Asian women that I see in the gym, they just be doing their own thing, right? They don't pay attention. Black women, let's start with other black women, they just keep it moving. No acknowledgement at all. White women stare. I don't know if they stare out of amazement, and I don't notice that they just stare at me. I notice that they stare at other women. And let me be clear, I've had so many memberships and I've been in so many gym environments. Like, this is a thorough assessment, because I was like, let me study this before I say anything. I don't want people to think that I'm a person that doesn't like women of certain cultures, because that's not true. I am a girl's girl. So, I love women because we deal with enough shit. So, however, but I did notice that, and like I said, white women, they just stare. I don't know if it's out of amazement. I personally believe that a lot of them are obsessed with us. A prime example, the Karens, not all of them, but there are a lot of them that are. But with Hispanic women, I don't know where this aggression has come from, or Latinas, or I don't know where this aggression has come from, but it's a big deal. Like, it's real. It's serious. It's real, and it's not just Dominicans. It's not just Puerto Ricans. It's not just a certain group. It is an overall consensus that I see. An overall consensus. So I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this. If you are, let me know.
Absolutely. I can absolutely share my experiences. But first, I want to say, let's be careful. It's getting a little scary in the comment section of that video. We're teetering the line of being racist towards Hispanic people. That's not what we're going to do. I'm not going to fight racism with racism. That's not what I'm going to do. So keep it cute. Keep it cute in that comment section. I'm just speaking from my personal experience. I'm not saying every Hispanic person in Miami is racist. I'm not saying every white person in Miami is racist. What I am saying is that I experienced an incredibly high amount of racism while living in South Florida and while working in that city. And that's my truth. That's my truth. Saying that all of them are racist is not a truth, because you have not talked to all of those people, been around all of those people, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So my first experience was just like 4 months into living there. I was driving behind someone, and I honked at them to go. They got out of their car and start calling me and my fiance at the time, my husband now, I don't even know why I said it like that, all kinds of N-words. All kinds of N-words just going off. I thought him and my husband were going to fight. Like, I had never experienced anything like it. His girlfriend had to get out of the car and pull him back. Insane. Number 2 is not a singular experience, but I can count around 5 times someone has yelled the N-word at me from their car. I struggled at work because I felt so isolated and out of place. I'm black. I do not know where I'm from particularly. I know that I was born and raised in Chicago, and that's all I know. So I didn't really have a connection to the Caribbean people in South Florida, and I didn't have a connection to the Hispanic people in South Florida, even though I grew up around, for a majority of my time in Chicago, around predominantly Hispanic population, a predominantly Mexican population, and loved it. So when I got to South Florida, I was confused as to why I felt so alone, and looked at like I was lesser than. Also, as a bigger woman, I mean, Miami is the city of like bodies and looking good and keeping yourself up. I was not rich and I was fat. So you can imagine how I was looked at on the street. This is further verified by my mother, who is also a bigger black woman, who is the sweetest woman in the world. And she tries to say hi to people on the street. She tries to engage with people on the street. She can speak Spanish. And the amount of times that she's heard us called out of our name when they didn't think that we spoke Spanish, when she's tried to say hi and greet people and they just give her a disgusted look, it was so otherworldly. And then finally, probably the biggest thing that made me feel like I have to get out of here, and when I felt genuinely unsafe, was when I was teaching at a school, and I was a debate teacher. And so I taught controversial topics because I had to. That was the curriculum. So a lot of our debate topics were about legislation that was happening in Florida, legislation that was happening nationally, international legislation. I had to explain what communism was. And simply by the fact of having to explain that, I got in trouble. I got phone calls from parents telling me that I was indoctrinating kids. I had a Facebook group turn against me. They put my picture in there. They put my voter registration in there, so they knew my address, they knew my phone number. They flooded my social media accounts, calling me all kinds of names, saying horrible things. They called my school saying that I had inappropriate relationships with students to get me fired. It was the worst year of my life. I was so depressed living there that I had to get a therapist so that I would stop feeling like I wanted to sleep forever, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? So when people ask me, would I go back? And a lot of people have asked me, would I go back? Or they ask me, oh my God, like, Miami is so different. Do you miss it? Do you miss the ocean and everything? I think it's a beautiful city. I think it's full of culture and nightlife, but I will never go back for how it made me feel. I will never go back for how I did not want to be on this earth anymore because I was there and my personal experiences. So take that as you will, right? That doesn't mean that will be your experience, but that was mine. And I appreciate you listening.